I know I'm speaking to someone right now, someone who can relate to this. You're in a time of isolation. You're in a time where you feel nobody is supporting you. You have nobody to vent to, nobody to express your emotions to. And what you need to understand is this is the time where you grow the most. What I've realized, the time I spent by myself thinking and just trying to compress ideas together was when I grew the most. When I spent time by myself, I had no distractions. I had nobody telling me this and this, so and so did this. Nobody distracting me. Was when I actually grew the most. I remember I used to be chubby, and there was a time when I felt like nobody was talking to me. No one was around me. No one was there for me to actually vent to. That's why I actually have a tattoo named Vent. I dropped an EP called Vent, and that was all the things I was going through. I expressed it all in my music. And at that time, what I thought about was, how can I do something to improve myself in past time? And one thing I thought about was for me to build on myself, get myself in shape, work as best as I could. At that time, I started doing more cardio and cardio. I started doing body workouts, a little bit of calisthenics. I would just do push-ups, squats, just full body workouts. And then I would go for a 5K run each and every single day. And I built the consistency. And at that time, I was living by a motto: don't live your life by emotion, but by routine. At that time, I replaced each and everything I was feeling with just routine. I told myself, I am going to be leaner. I am going to be more aesthetic. And at that time, I became more lean. I dropped in body fat percentage, and I was happy. I was proud of myself. I told myself, every time I want to improve, I go in a time of isolation. I don't talk to anybody. I don't waste my time on pointless things that drain my energy. I put myself in the position to just work and focus, and if you guys can take one thing from that, is moments of isolation in your life is actually a good thing. It's a sign that God is telling you, you have to improve. You have to evolve. You have to move on to the next level. And me currently having that mindset really has helped me. It has helped me through so many things. So many times I felt isolated. I felt nobody was around for me to express how I truly felt. You need to have something you can pour that negative energy towards. People always tell us to get rid of negative energy, throw it away, never express ourselves. But in all seriousness, negative energy is actually something you can use to drive towards success. I would say, if anything, negative energy is more potent than positive energy, because when you're in that space, that mindset, and you use it the right way, it can really push you. I have a thing where whenever I'm working out or doing something that benefits me, even right now, I'm currently thinking about it. I always think about, where would I be if I didn't put in as much time and energy into what I wanted to do? I'd be living a mediocre life. I'd be complaining each and every single day. Now every time when I walk outside, I feel confident because I put in the energy, the time to actually work on my physique, and I feel good about myself. That's something you can do, so it's really taught me to take myself serious. And I'm gonna go back to the storytelling about another time in my life where I was in a moment of isolation. Then I chose to lock into where I'm currently am right now. This was back when I was, I think, 17. I reached a point where I got really, really skinny. I got really, really, really skinny. I was so skinny. I'm going to show you a photo right now. I was 130 pounds. 130 pounds. I was just tapping 130 pounds. Some days I'll be 100 and maybe 28 pounds. I was light. And one thing I told myself is I want to become more in shape. I want to weigh more. I want to look better. I want to have more of an aesthetic physique. And I told myself I was going to do that. And I did. I locked in. I started going to the gym. I started pushing myself harder and harder each and every single day. And one thing I noticed is that I motivated people around me. I motivated people around me who noticed. They're like, oh, he's doing something good for himself. Let me hop in. Most of my friends, if not all my friends, started going to the gym after I started going to the gym. And I'm not saying this to brag or be like, oh, look at what I did. Look at what I did. I made these guys go to the gym. But what I'm trying to say is that even in moments of isolation, people notice when you begin to work on yourself. People notice when you begin to progress. People actually notice. And I'm not saying do it because you want people to notice, but when you're in a moment of isolation and you choose to channel that negative feeling you're feeling towards yourself, and you choose to push that towards working on your physique, working on your business, working on whatever you're trying to accomplish, people will notice that. And that can be a highly driven motivator for other people to actually follow in the right steps. So what I'm trying to tell you is, even in your moments of isolation, you should never look at it as, oh, no, nobody loves me, nobody this. Because like I said before, everybody is focused on themselves. Everybody is focused on their life. They're focused on what they got going on. They're focused on their own struggles. So never take it as a feeling that nobody is there to support you or nobody really cares about you in that sense. They're just stuck thinking about themselves. And I'm not saying there's never a time where people actually don't care about you and you have people who are very unsupportive, which there's a lot of cases where there's a lot of people who are very unsupportive. They actually don't care about you. But in that case, that's a whole different situation. And I believe you should get those people out of your life instead of wasting your time and feeling bad about them not caring about you. You know, I say stay away as much as possible away from negativity. But when you have negative thoughts, use that negative thought in a good way. Use it to drive yourself, to improve yourself, to push yourself into a better position, to make a better decision. You know, like I said, view each and every single day as a challenge to upgrade yourself, to work hard. You know, like I said, time is going to pass you by regardless. Whether you sit down and do nothing with yourself, or if you choose to stand up and work on your passion, your goals. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what you choose, the sun is going to rise tomorrow. The sun is going to show up tomorrow. It's going to go to nighttime, and then the sun will rise again. And then a new day will begin. It would always just keep going in a circle, and over again. So if you can take something out of this video, is moments of isolation shouldn't be seen as a negative thing, but something that is part of life, something you're supposed to go through, So I've been through so many times of moments of isolation where I felt like nobody was there, even my closest friends, I felt like they just weren't there to talk to me. You know, did I hate them? No. Did I feel bad did I hate the fact that they didn't talk to me? No. You know, I just had this feeling of depression, feeling of sadness, and that's something you're supposed to channel into something else, is what I'm trying to tell you. And I'm not here to say, oh, this is a choice, sadness is a choice, this. But what I'm trying to say is that with all these negative emotions you could be feeling as a person, you have to understand that they're normal. But the only thing you can do to help your situation, your current situation, is by channeling that energy into something better. You know, negative energy can be more potent, more useful than positive, because you're not in a state of relaxation. You're in a state where you want to improve yourself. And I always tell myself, when I'm feeling very down, very depressed, so That's my body telling me, my mind telling me it's done being this character. It wants me to upgrade. It wants me to challenge myself. It wants me to keep pushing. And that's how I look at everything that goes on in my life, as I gotta upgrade myself. I gotta work on myself. I gotta do better each and every single day. If you hold on to the mindset that the world is out to get you, no one cares about you, and then you spiral down this bad path of just depression, sadness, and bad habits, consistently holding yourself not accountable, just complaining about each and every single thing, you would realize that life will pass you by and you would have done nothing. And like I said, the sun will rise tomorrow. So all I'm gonna say is channel the energy however way you want to do it, but it's your choice. Don't complain because you didn't put in the right energy, focus on the right thing, you didn't channel the energy the right way, and things aren't going your way. Don't complain, man. That's just part of life, man. If you guys are new to this channel, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe so we can grow together. I appreciate you guys. Take care, gang.